as my great friend, sometimes private client, badass millionaire, 5-star mastermind member, husband, father of 3, and former NHL player who can use a rescue club to hit a golf ball about 200 yards off of the hotel 11th floor balcony in Orlando to mastermind, Kevin Bolingbrook. Any guy that can do that, who played in the NHL, who's a great father, great husband, and an entrepreneur, plus a kick-ass community guy. Google Kevin Bolingbrook and listen to his speech. He's wearing his black UMA golf shirt in that speech, the one that's at the top rankings on Google. And he's talking to a group, I believe, of businessmen a couple of years back. As King Kevin likes to say, horsepower, not horse shit. I asked him years ago, I said, how did you discover me? Why did you read my book? Why did you subscribe to my newsletter? And why did you come to my premium 5-star masterminds that I held all over the country every 3 to 4 months? He says, Michael, the difference between you and everybody else, he says, your stuff, horsepower, not horse shit. So, ultimate compliment from a badass millionaire, a guy who lives life and does business on his own terms. The great thing about Bolingbrook too is when all his dummy teammates, and I coached in all those leagues and all those junior levels, part of playing junior hockey usually in Canada, he played in Peterborough, won a Memorial Cup championship. Most of those kids, when they're riding the buses from the age of 16 to 20, most of those kids are doing one thing. They're playing hockey, and the second thing they're doing is wasting time. Maybe they go to school, maybe they go to a little bit of school online, maybe they graduate from high school, but basically it's hockey, sleep, video games, and if you don't make it, you don't make it. And Kevin was the direct opposite of that. He's such a smart, hardworking, intelligent guy that what he did when he was riding those buses back in the day is you get, as part of the deal to play junior hockey, instead of going to the US to play in a Division I scholarship, the way the Canadian junior leagues compete now is they will pay for your university or college, 4 years of books, tuition, housing, that kind of thing. That's how they keep the best young players in Canada. So instead of a kid going to Michigan or a kid going to Boston College, you know, he can stay in Canada if he chooses, and he can execute that contract for 4 years of university or college. So Kevin, being the sharp guy that he is, he took care of high school very quickly, and then he used that scholarship, and he got a business marketing degree, 4 years, while riding the buses. And then when he was playing in the minors, he was drafted by the Ottawa Senators, my hometown NHL team. And when he was playing in the minors, he hadn't been able to break the NHL ranks yet. You know, he's riding the long buses. They're going to Rochester, they're going to Providence, all over North America. What does he do? He uses all his downtime when he's not practicing and playing games. He invests all his downtime in study, and he earns a master's degree. He earns a master's degree in business psychology, I believe. Business psychology and marketing, whatever, doesn't make any difference. All paid for as part of his scholarship. So when these other guys, they don't have a safety net to fall back in. They're all the same. If they don't make it, they think they're gonna go on TV. They think they're gonna be referees. They're gonna think they're gonna be coaches, when that's just wishful thinking. You know, 99.9% of former professional athletes have absolutely, positively no option to be on television, have almost no options to coach. They don't have the skills or the temperament. And refereeing, well, that's skill and temperament as well. So a lot of pro athletes, even the ones that make a lot of money for a short period of time, They end up, in financial problems. They end up with, no structure. They're not used to being outside of the game, and it makes for a long life, but not our boy Kevin. So he's been an entrepreneur for a number of years. He's been in the financial planning game. He owns his own franchise now, and he's a great father, which is number one in my book. But when he complimented me and said horsepower, not horse shit, I thought I'd share with you. I'm actually in Dunedin still watching the Blue Jays. They're wrapping up spring training here. It's not long till the regular season begins. Thank God those pros, thank God they got playing again. I mean, all the jobs down here, they build these stadiums for these teams. Fort Myers has 2 stadiums. They got one for the Red Sox, they got one for the Twins. Naples should have one, they don't have one. And Dunedin, I mean, it's everything when the Jays come here. And they usually come here, pitchers report, usually overall the teams are here for close to 2 months. It's absolutely crucial. And man, oh man, for those guys for them to be locked out, and for them for the owners not to, and for the players not to get together with an agreement would have been just brutal. They were talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 part-time employees with every team down here in Florida and in Arizona. 1,000 part-time jobs, some of them full-time. Plus the energy it brings. I mean, people down here, I love spring training. And when that stuff was going to be shut off, man, oh man, that did not go over well. I was one of those guys, I was like, you know what? Empty those fucking stadiums. I don't give a shit whether it's the owners. I don't give a shit whether it's the players. I've been in pro, I've been amateur, I've been a team owner, and I've been a player and a coach. I know both sides of it. If you can't put that deal together when you're dealing with billionaires and millionaires, man, oh man, the fans need to send a serious statement and empty those stadiums. Absolutely empty those stadiums. And you'd say, well, Michael, the tickets are only a small part. That's total bullshit. I've been a franchise team owner on 2 different occasions. It all starts and finishes with attendance. All of a sudden, if your stadium is empty, it doesn't even matter if it was the NFL, which is a license to print billions. It's like being royalty, right? You're anointed as royalty when you own a team in the NFL. You empty the stadiums, and all of a sudden the TV deals disappear. All of a sudden the corporate sponsorship disappears. All of a sudden, it all starts and ends with merchandise. You got to have people in the stadiums. So thank God these guys got back playing. I know it's an abbreviated season down here, but man, it's important to these communities, and they embrace these teams like they're their own. The Yankees in Tampa, the Jays in Dunedin, the Red Sox, the Twins in Fort Myers, and the teams that are out in Arizona as well. So horsepower, not horse shit. Two things. So, success and excellence is not as complicated as people think. It's not success and excellence, living a badass millionaire lifestyle, building your own world. It's simple, but it's not difficult to understand. And yes, it can be hard, but it's not hard to understand. And it boils down to me, I'm thinking about this the other day, working with my elite coach, world building coaching members this first week, is success to me. There's 2 foundations of you having the success and building the world and the business that you dream of. And it's understanding in your gut, in your heart, in your soul, these 2 concepts. And this makes a great athlete, this makes a great father, this makes a great husband, this makes a great marketer, this makes a great business owner, this makes anyone great. And number 1, and our children need to learn this. They don't learn this shit in the schools, and they need to. They need to learn it at the kitchen table. They need to learn it on the t-ball field. They need to learn it on the tennis court. They need to learn it, wherever, at the barn, whatever. Number 1 is our potential is almost unlimited. Every 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 11-year-old, 18-year-old, 25-year-old, 64-year-old, 75-year-old, you need to know that your potential is almost unlimited. You know what? The only limits, you're not the next LeBron James. I'm not the next Tiger Woods. Those are real limits, and they're very, very, very a small piece of the puzzle. People don't even get close to their potential. They say things like, well, you know, I can't drive a golf ball 400 yards, or I can't dunk a basketball. That has nothing to do with your personal success. Our job as men, badass businessmen, our job is to be the best version of ourselves every single day. That's what God put us on, our Creator put us on this earth to work every day to be the best version of ourselves. Every day, 1% better. Every day, chip away, the best version. The best businessman, the best husband, the best father, the best community leader, the best employer, all that kind of stuff. Okay, very, very important, the best version. You're not put on this earth to be somebody else. You're not put on this earth to be Michael Jordan. You're not put on this earth to be Henry Ford or Howard Stern or any of these guys. You're put on this earth to be you and the best version. But the thing is, the number one thing that I see stopping people, and just keeping it simple, like Steve Jobs did with Apple, keeping things simple, is you've got to teach and preach and live that a person's potential is almost unlimited. And here's the mindset that I've always taught my hockey players for years, whether they were pros or whether they were teenagers, and now I constantly tell my world builders to remind them. Everything that's happened in your life up to this point, I don't care if you're 40, I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70, or if you're 88 years old like my mom and dad. Everything that's happened in your life up to this point has happened for a reason and will serve you in becoming the next version of yourself, the next better version of yourself. It's not about selling out. It's not about quitting. It's not about wrapping it up. It's about becoming the next version of yourself. Maybe that is retirement. Maybe that is working part-time, but maybe that's starting a new venture. Maybe that's building a new home. Maybe that's building a new world. But everything that's happened in your life, good, bad, the tough stuff, the tragedies, the adversity, the embarrassments, the bankruptcies, the illness, I don't care what it is. We all deal with significant stuff along our road. It does not matter. Adversity makes us grow. Okay, it teaches us to smarten up and become better. Losing, like I say to my guys, it teaches us to smarten up and become better. And that's the thing, is all of our history, embrace it and use that as fuel, especially the bad stuff. You know, that chip on the shoulder, that dark passenger, use that as fuel. 99% of people use it to ruin their life. Oh, I grew up, my dad was an alcoholic, my mom was an alcoholic, I grew up in foster care, I lived in the bad neighborhood, and they carry that garbage around with them for decades and decades until they're an old person. Instead, use your past, okay, to set yourself up for the next chapter of your life, the next awesome, badass chapter of your life. Your potential is almost unlimited. And everything that's happened up to this point will help you serve in you becoming the next reinvention of yourself. Use it. Use it. Don't try and forget it. Don't try and push it down. Embrace it. And some of that stuff is the most motivating gasoline and fuel you'll ever have. Somebody told you you can't do something when you were 15. Somebody told you that you were crazy when you were 25. You know, somebody said that business will never work. Use that shit to drive yourself every single day. Every single day, use your dark side. Use as fuel and gasoline. Every grade has it. The Michael Jordans cut off their high school basketball team. You know, the Steve Jobs told by Bill Gates that his company was a fucking joke. Like, this is the kind of stuff that drives you. You know, I was told that a small valley team, a small community like Perth, I said, could never compete, could never win a Barclay Cup against the big powerhouse city teams. And I used that, and I thought about it every day. And I used that chip on my shoulder, and I used that dark side. I didn't ignore it, I embraced it. And I said, everything that's happened up to this point, I'm going to use as fuel to drive me to that next goal, which to win a Barclay Cup. And in that particular case, that was a big part of us winning. I had endless energy because of that fuel. And everything that happened up to that point had served me in helping me achieve that goal. So our potential is absolutely unlimited. Tell that to your children. Tell that to your grandchildren. Tell that to your wife. Speak success. and see what people say and just plant the seed. And that when people talk about all the past and all this trash and all this garbage and the president and the government and Russia and Ukraine and all this horse shit, it's just like everything that's happened in the past, you personally, good and bad, can serve you in the future if you embrace it and use it. Horsepower, not horse shit. Number 2, and there's only 2 because this is a simple concept. You are, I repeat, you and me are 100% responsible for every result in your life. You are exactly where you want to be right now because of you, 100%. Your business is where it is because of you. Your marketing is where it is because of you. Good or bad, your marriage is where you are because of you. Your relationship with your children is exactly where you want it to be, period, because of you. Your contribution, everything, your freedom, your level of control, your level of autonomy, it all is at your doorstep. Mine as well. Mine as well. Every result in my life up to the point is my fault, and every result in my life from this point on into my next chapter, into the next world that I'm building, is my fault. You know why that excites me so much? Is because I've got control. I've taken accountability. If I'm responsible for every win and loss in my life, guess what? That excites me because now I'm in control. Now you've told me that I have unlimited potential, that it doesn't matter, that my experience is going to serve me, my dark side is going to serve me, the chip on my shoulder is going to serve me, the adversity that I've had is going to serve me. And now, Michael, you've told me that it's 100% within my control. In other words, wins and losses up to me. If it's going to be, up to me. I think that's a pretty good news message for somebody who wants to put in the work and do the work. It's like, you know what? Jimmy Johnson said it best with the Dallas Cowboys when they were dead last place, 1-15, and then they won back-to-back Super Bowls. He goes, I want all the credit and I want all the blame. Simple as that. I want all the credit and I want all the blame. And that's the mindset of a badass champion. And the same thing applies to you. From this day forward, take accountability and responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Even those situations where we gotta grin and bear it and say, you know what? That wasn't completely my fault, or I wasn't really part of that. Fuck that. Take control and say to yourself, at least that's not gonna happen again on my watch. Take responsibility for 100% of the results in your life, and always tell, and that's something we need to be preaching to our children as well, is, control the controllables, but you have control. You know, you want more freedom, you want to get in better shape, you want better marketing, you want a better relationship, you want a better marriage, you want to live in a different part of the country, you want to make your own luck. Hey, 100% accountability, and then just thrive in the fact that you've got control, that you have control, that you're within control of your life, and keep reminding yourself that you have unlimited potential, and everything that's happened to you, good and bad, is going to serve you in making you an even better version of the person that you were before. Think about that hard, personally, like I do all the time. 2 things. Absolutely unlimited potential, almost completely unlimited potential. And secondly, take responsibility for every single good and bad result in your life and see what happens. And when you're at it, success spoken. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about at kitchen tables. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about at junior basketball practices. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about in the classroom and never will be. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be taught in our homes so that our children understand, hey, I can do this. I can do hard things. So that our children also say, you know what? You know what? That was my fault. Own it, own it, own it, and fucking fix it. That's how you fix things. You do something wrong. We apologize for it when you're sincere about it. You own it. That's my responsibility. That happened because of me. And the best part, fix it, fix it. That's how badass millionaires and world builders operate. They own it, they take responsibility for it, they apologize for it if necessary, and boom, fix it. Next. 2 words. Before I get into that, I'll just mention, if you're interested in a big, ugly package, my $155 million marketing swipe file, I'm emptying my garage in Canada. We are putting in an offer on a home here in Naples, where we would live both at our lakeside home in Canada, but also Here, whenever we felt like it, I've got 3 large cases of these ugly, shiny marketing swipe files. What's in the swipe file? Everything I have used under the sun to sell $155 million of products and services over the last 15 to 20 years. Postcards, newsletters, TV ads, sales scripts, employee motivational stuff, TV ads, yellow pages, social media posts, videos, you name it, it's in there. Everything I used in the barbershop business to this day, everything I used as a sports franchise owner, everything I use as the #1 insurance agent in the country, everything that I use with my window washing company, with my consulting business, it's just endless. It's literally the ugliest product you could ever possibly buy. And I am going to be getting rid of these. They're $1,001, and I just picked that number out of there. I used to sell them for $5,000. I used to sell them from the stage at events for $5,000, and I used to sell them out, no problem. I'm getting rid of these in my garage because my wife, Krista, is a relentless person when she wants clean spaces, and she wants our garage at home cleaned out. So I have 3 cases of these. I've completely updated them. Leanne has completely updated them right up to 2020. So it's all or 2022, it's all my stuff. It's all my personality marketing. Just a word of warning, this marketing is exactly the opposite of what everybody else. If you're a marketing or business candy ass, this is not for you. If you care about what your brother-in-law thinks, or if you're an image puffy shirt kind of person, or if you're a person who wants to fit in instead of stand out, if you're kind of one of those pretenders, not a contender, then this marketing is not for you. This is for the person who wants to stand out, get their stuff noticed, and wants to be a top 1% performer. All this stuff here made me literally millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And it can do the same for you if you have the balls and the guts to use it. But if that's not your cup of whiskey, do not buy this product. I don't care whether you buy it or not. These things have been sitting in my garage now for 4 years. I updated them, but I don't care. Long as they're all sold, it doesn't make any difference for me. They're being shipped here from Canada first of the week. If you're interested in being put on a waiting list to buy one of them, just reply to this email. So reply with something clever like swipe file or relentless. Swipe file would be better. And I will reach out to you when they arrive. I'll FedEx the package. It's an ugly red package to anywhere in the world. I'll pay for the shipping, and it's $1,001 for the entire swipe file. My entire 20 years, $155 million, every piece of marketing that I ever did, including my phone scripts in there, which I used to share on my $20,000 per day private consulting days. And they just change your entire business because the people answering your phones become closing machines. Even your receptionists, even your service people and your sales people become, closers and cleaners. But nonetheless, I am going to go watch a baseball game. I'm going to watch the Blue Jays. I don't really care if you buy this product or not. I've already sold my $155 million. That's why I'm in Dunedin watching baseball. That's why I'm in Tampa Bay at the Lightning game this Monday night. Toronto Maple Leafs are in town, and I'm going to head up to Tampa and watch the Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. So that's it for me. If you want the swipe file, reply to this email, swipe file, and I'll get back to you next week. That's it for now. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that'll change your life. Be relentless.